Hey there, trainers! Welcome to another episode of Tap Tap Casts. My name is Martijn. You may also know me as Inadequate, and I am joined by Amanda, also known as Lundberger. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing great. A new season, first episode, I would say, of our second season of Tap Tap Cast. How are you feeling about it? I mean, the end season of the first was pretty good for both you and me. I got to cast worlds. You were something a little more prestigious. The world's finalist.
Well, you guys didn't invite me on the broadcast, so because I just made it for myself. I just had to do it myself. But yeah, new season, new play Pokemon season as well. Super excited with a lot of meta changes, right? And we already have had one tournament in Europe, one tournament in North America, and one tournament in South America. And today we have the winner of the first European Regional Championship of the season. It is Kazim.
Woo!
Welcome in,
Hope
Kazim. How you
everyone's
doing?
doing well. Yeah, very, very good. Thanks. How are you guys?
Doing good. Thank you for being, our first guest of the season. Hope we can spotlight you because you are definitely someone that has known within the grassroots community, known within PvP. But why don't you give a small introduction of yourself for maybe some people who aren't as familiar?
So, my name is Karim. Also, you might all know me as Kazim33. I just won the 2025 Dortmund Regional.
Yeah, you did.
Still soaking it in. But I've been playing PvP for about 3 years. I think just over 3 years now. I might be slightly off, but around there. So whilst I might be like slightly new compared to others, I still think I have a fair share of experience. My first GBL legend was season 10. I've hit it ever since then, and then I did my first play Pokemon tournament in January 2023, which was in Liverpool. And fun fact, other than last weekend, that was probably my best run in a play Pokemon tournament since. So it was slightly disappointing to never reach a day two after an impressive first showing. But it is always tough competition, and I always feel competition's increasing as the tournaments progress. Everyone learns little tricks in there, and yeah, no game is easy these days, honestly.
I uh, I must say I feel the same way when play GBL. Hitting Legend used to be so much easier, and I'm like, why is everyone catching my moves or something? Knock it off. Just getting annoying.
Even in the
Uh,
lower ranks, yeah.
how did you? Yeah, I'm always low, dude. How did you get into PvP in the first place?
So I picked up the game back in 2020. My good friend Andrew from secondary school was playing it. I think there was like a shiny Snubble event, and I was just like, yeah, why not? Let's just play it. I played it a lot when it came out. Like for a good year, I played it intensely. I was one of the first to complete the Gen 1 Pokédex. That was a while ago. Um, but then I still found the general game a bit repetitive. I've always been a competitive person, and just thought I'd hit the battle screen, and I sucked. I sucked initially. I found myself struggling, not know what I was doing. I see everyone using Galarian Stunfisk. I'm like, what the hell? This thing reaches a move every like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, let's try this thing out. And then I realized that thing was quite good. I saw was it Azuma Umbreon everywhere? I'm like, why are these bulky Pokemon so good? It's just like not fair. And then just started battling, tried to use my 25 battles a day and keep practicing. Then realized you had to count to become good. Then I thought, God, really? That's impossible. That's really impossible. But again, it was just more practicing. I used to watch a lot of YouTube, so like Rise Zionic.
Inadequate.
Who else? Did you? I don't know.
I
You
don't
help me a
maybe I
lot
was
now
making
these
videos.
days, so you'll get the credit later on. But my early journey, maybe not so much. um, yeah, a lot of YouTube really helped me just to kind of develop that like encyclopedia in the head of what Pokemon knows what moves and the counts to everything, and I think just having that knowledge is essential uh, to play at the higher level. Um, and then it was just yeah, practice, 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 like a solid 2 years of GBL. And then a few years later, I spoke to Aniko. I'm sure you all know him.
Mhm.
And I met up with him, and he told me about the whole play Pokemon scene, and Liverpool being the next one on the circuit. I thought it's perfect time for me to just pop up. At that time, I had hit Legend a few times, so I sort of knew my stuff and ended up doing a lot better than I thought. And yeah, here we are.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot to unpack there, but so I have a kind of a twofold question with this.
Mm.
At what point when you were doing Go Battle League, the blind three format, did it start to click for you? Like, you're like, oh, I actually am learning these counts, or oh, I see this Pokemon, so I maybe recognize a lineup, or I know that I have to do X to, secure
Yeah,
shield or whatever advantage.
I
That's point
think that
one.
I think that's a big point. So like earlier on, I'd always try and use the same team. And whilst I didn't have most of like the Pokemon built, um, I would just kind of stick with the same team. And like you said, just said Amanda, learning what to do in a specific scenario is so useful because you might face someone might safe swap X and then you just play it a different way, and
Mhm.
it's just building that knowledge and it building that muscle memory as well. So I think that's the main thing. Just practice, practice. I think Fareed mentioned it. I was rewatching the cast. Practice makes permanent.
Mhm.
He's spot on.
Part two of this is, so Liverpool
Yes,
was your first show six pick three, or
correct.
did you do?
Yes.
Okay, that's also
Oh,
pretty
oh,
interesting.
as in like ever. It was my first play Pokemon tournament.
Okay,
But
okay, okay.
go, sorry, I might have interrupted. Continue.
No, no, no. You didn't interrupt it. I was just curious how, because you said you hit Legend a couple times.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
Anacor introduced you to the play Pokemon thing, and you did quite well for your very first tournament. So I just wondered how much show six pick three practice you had,
Oh,
and how much
yeah,
you felt GBL kind of helped you prepare for that, or if it did.
yeah. I mean, GBL. I mean, I know the Pokemon that I used quite well. I think I just took Emmy Weedle's team that he won Stuttgart with because he had a Mantine and I was using that in GBL at the time. Um, and I think the point about show six pick three, I think I'd done like 1 month of factions because I just joined.
Mm.
I joined his team, Hidden Powers at the time before we merged with TM Pizza. So I'd done like 2-3 bouts of Sylph factions, and that was really it in terms of show six. I did a few scrims before the tournament, but compared to what I do now with the ones Martine hosts, it's very little. So yeah, at the time, it was just kind of the way I'd play show six was pick the three Pokemon that had the highest number of like good matchups rather than now. Like the way I think of it now is completely different. I'm like, how did I manage to do so well just like that? No sort of like I knew what an ABB was, but that was it. It was no like get energy advantage on this and whatever million thoughts are going into my mind whenever I'm trying to compose a line of three these days. So yeah, sorry, I might have gone on a bit again.
It's great to have a guest who can talk a lot, so we have insight in all of that. So please do not apologize. You also did that, I think, after one of our interviews. I'm like, no, this is great. Keep talking.
Just keep
Like
chatting.
you do realize, like behind the desk, we also have to yap a lot on sometimes,
Of
right? And I
course,
think
yeah. I
it's
wonder
good
how you guys. I
to.
always wonder how you guys do it. Like 10 hours.
Um, you say is it mainly Anakor who got you into all of this, like show six, two
Yeah.
factions,
So
and to
so
play
I think
Pokemon?
he organized like a Discord for London
Mm-hmm.
PvPers at the time. And he got a few people on, and I think there was one day he organized like a training day for people to come to. I was like, I would have been looking to coach people because I think at the time my mechanics were on point, but no one turned up apart from the two of us, and we just had a long chat.
Mm-hmm.
And he, yeah, just introduced me to the scene, and it was really cool just knowing that there were all these tournaments because I think like literally at the time I didn't even know Sylph existed, and I was like tweeting, anyone want practice battles? I'm like, I didn't even know about all of this outside world, so it was fascinating. Like when I went to Liverpool for the first time, seeing all these skilled players, and just at the whole venue being super
Mm-hmm.
large, and even having the TCG VGC players around, it's yeah. I
Yeah.
just generally didn't know about this, and I've been a Pokemon fan throughout my life. Um, But yeah, just a world outside of GBL was really cool.
I think that might be for a lot of people, maybe that it's a little bit difficult sometimes to raise that awareness, right? So if someone's not like active on a particular platform, I think. You said
100%.
that
Yeah.
you think way different now than you used to think. Um, this might be a little bit of a question rushing for it, but do you think that with the way you played in Dortmund, are you near like your peak? Of course, you're gonna have like the way you feel, right? Because I definitely had those moments where I was like, okay, I did well here. I don't think I can do much better than this. And of course, you want to do well at like probably ICs or just the next regional, maybe ever with that
Yeah.
freaking Whimsicott, or at Worlds. How do you feel about that
It's
now?
here. You had to mention it, so let's
Uh,
get
the-
that out of the way.
I have a
Um,
whole topic about it even, but that'll be later.
so, in terms of how I played in Dortmund, I think I did play pretty well. I did rewatch. I have rewatched every battle like many times, and I think there were still many things I could have done better. But I never like every day when I play GBL, every scrim, every practice tournament I do make plenty mistakes. So I think overall in that tournament, um, it was close to peak, and I've got to be quite nice to myself. I was playing against some pretty stellar opposition. I think I had Elephant Flash in the first round and Yonkers in the second round. There were no easy games, honestly.
Those are the
Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
high caliber of opposition. But like there are still, and that's the thing about this game. It's the consistency. I think there's so many good players, and just being able to perform at that like high level consistently. Like there was a game I should have 6-0'd Tonton, and that would have been one for the record books. But I
it's
threw
the
one.
the one game I put in my video.
Yeah, I should have won. That was it. Dunsparce into Moltres, Superior into Dunsparce, and I lost. So yeah, there's always things you can do better. And like I'm gonna look to build on that. Hopefully this meta stays the same for a while because I do really enjoy it. I think part of my lack of success, well, I wouldn't say I've played that badly, but it's just so easy to get RPS in previous metas,
Hmm.
and I think you saw that the players that made it to top cut, like you had your Mind Jokes, you had your Tontons, you had big names performing well, which you always like to see in these tournaments, and we all
Yeah.
know these battlers how good they are from previous tournaments. They might have struggled previously, not because they made a misplay, just because they got a lantern stuck on a
Mhm.
dragon or a Skarmory stuck on a lantern in previous metas, and sometimes it's just a bit of luck
Yeah.
rather than skill that prevailed back then.
Or
But
a Mind Jokes case in a Lowland Sand Slash stuck on a
I met
Bro,
a
he should
champ.
have dropped
a
that
meta
Pokemon
champ.
so long ago.
But it is funny that you say that you really like this meta because you even said it in an interview with Martine there. You can't bring your favorite Pokemon to this meta because with a Clodsire and with so many Pokemon that counter it quite well.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about benching Whimsicott for your first ever win to secure your spot for Worlds?
I mean, I couldn't. Like I can't play RPS. I hate it. Like never seeing Bastiodon in GBL. Not even. I mean, we were starting to see him in play Pokemon tournaments. That's how horrible it got to. But it's just not my style. There's no point coming. I mean, I love coming here. And it probably won't stop me even if it's a horrible meta. But it could be just daunting going there and fearing that you're like in a Mind Jokes case, like your Sand Slash gets lined onto a Medicham. That happened to me a year ago in Lille as well, and it's not fun. Whereas here, I don't think I probably the matchup against Tonton where I had my superior on his Shadow Quagsire. That was probably the most like alignment dependent match off my whole run, but I honestly can't remember. Because I always try and play neutral. A lot of my opponents like similarly as well. We all try to make make for the as fun and as neutral battles as possible, and try and win through skill rather than just straight hard alignment. So yeah, it definitely suits my style, and long may it continue.
It's kind of breaks
Sorry, I've
my
kind
heart
of
because I love
gone
RPS.
off about the
Yeah.
Whimsicott, haven't I?
No,
I didn't
but
really talk
yeah,
about
I was
it.
actually gonna say. So you, Martin, you said you love RPS, and you guys have very, very different play styles, but you guys are both like really entertaining players to watch in that regard too. Do you think either one of you, all Kazim, you can answer first because you're our guest, and then Martin. But do you think that your play style makes you at all predictable? Like last season, and Colin is a super good player, so I'm not giving him any shade at all, but he is a very safe player a lot of the times, and he plays also very consistent lines that can't be very RPS, nothing too risky. Do you feel like this could end up kind of biting you in the butt because you're like, you just said it yourself, I don't play RPS, I'm always going to play for, the more safe Pokemon, not
Mm,
alignment based?
maybe not. Maybe I'm just mind gaming everyone, and now I'm gonna
Mm.
absolutely. But no, absolutely not. I always trust my neutral play because I know my counts. I know my mechanics. I'm pretty sure most people do at this level anyway. But there's not really a hard way to just out neutral someone who's at the top of their game. And I don't mean to like brag or anything, but if you are playing optimally whilst you're trying to maintain those neutral matchups, like you see with Colin, you never see him absolutely swamped in a battle. I actually really enjoy playing against Colin in practice because the games are always so close, and it's never just a coin flip to see which one of us wins. So you know what, to everyone watching, go for it. Try and out neutral me, but it is gonna be tough.
How
But I
about
like
you,
to mix
Martin?
it around. Like it depends on the matchup. It honestly depends on the matchup, and I felt I had good matchups into pretty much all of my opponents. So sometimes you're forced to play for alignment, sometimes you're not, and it's just looking for that safe swap on the team. And if I have one, it feels good, basically.
Yeah. The way I'm always joking about that I play RPS, but I don't really. If you look at like no, listen. If you look at some of my roles battles, most of the time I got like a shield advantage for my backline losing switch. Um, and I never ever say switch is Giratina, so it's not like I'm
True.
playing risky all the time. It's definitely about positioning, and I like to think like in the way which Pokemon can my opponent run and not run, or which can they not run together, right? So I think that comes with it as well. And I do like this new meta as well. I don't think it's just a switch clock though, honestly. It's just the picks that are so common are way less polarizing. If you think of
Yeah.
Feraligatr beats about everything with shields up, Clodsire beats everything with shields up, Diggersby beats almost everything with shields up. Toxapex, well, kind of Bastidon now, but so good into many things as well. I think makes it an entirely different meta besides the switch clock. And I don't know, I do like it. It's just so deceptive at sometimes, if you're especially if you're used to, because I like to count or have an estimation of how far the opponent's switch clock is by counting the charge stacks being thrown from the moment they swap. And that's just way different now. You really need to
Mhm.
keep that in mind every time.
it just
So,
it just pops up every time, like a couple
mhm.
moves thrown, and it's like, I can switch out. It's
I don't
but it's
remember who it was. I think it was Stone Collection. He caught like an attack from Malamar on his Azumarill, and he just kept farming up energy and energy and energy. And after like two more foul play, the clock is just
Yep.
up. You're too slow.
Yeah, he
You
did
need to,
throw. He did
yeah,
throw a move. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that too.
I think he still won, but that was just a perfect showcase of the change that is the shortest clock. So I think it's just like an addition on top of what the meta is right
mm,
now, and maybe just works really well with it too, right? If you can bank Hydrocan or crunch from Drapion all over the place, it really helps you in end
I,
game. It's just not in show 6 play Pokemon, but also like I play Gym Breakers, right? Which is like a meta with Golisopod, Ariados, Drapion. That's all Pokemon that get to their charge stacks in like 10 turns. You can just bank energy all over the place. It goes really quick.
I think Drapion is one I always face, and you sometimes rather be the Drapion than the Clodsire in that matchup, just because after like four moves are thrown, you double
Bro,
shield, and
it's so annoying.
you're still healthy, and then you bank up the next Aquatail on against something else, and it's like you kill it, and you still never taken that EQ because you've shielded everything. It's crazy play, but it's good, healthy stuff.
Yeah. You said you like playing against Colin. He's on your team. And of course, just to bring it back from that. So you were originally part of Hidden Powers
Yeah,
faction before
correct.
they merged with Tea and Pizza. And then
Yes,
you are on I mean, because there's like 4 Tea and Pizza teams, right?
yes.
I think it's like
Uh,
8 now. 10?
is there?
I'm surprised you only said 8. But yeah, four teams. I'm in the TMP, so Hidden Powers one. Long
Okay,
name, I know.
and I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just seriously wondering what is the tier scale of the consideration of the whole tea and pizza? Is that the second one, and then there's the academy, and then there's spice, right? Tea and
Yeah, you
spice.
are spot on. So it's the main team, and then Hidden Powers, and then the Academy, and then Spice. From what I believe, um, probably get roasted by the captain of Spice if I've got that wrong. But I think I'm right. And based on the tiers that we're playing in Battle Frontier, which I can't really remember too well, I've kind of not paid too much attention with all this Dortmund stuff going on. But I think yeah, I think it's in that order.
Is there you like to play? Is there anyone that you're like on the main team that you're like, oh, if I had to challenge to take their spot, are you going to move up to the big team? Do you think after this incredible showing? Because not all of them have gotten the first place medal, Kazim.
I mean, it's not my decision. We'll see. I think they asked me after maybe like 6, 7 months ago as well, but I still felt at the time. Oh, it might have been after my first regional. I can't remember. But I still felt my show six play had a lot to improve, which is why I stayed on and didn't want to put the pressure on myself of playing, because I still like, even in terms of the factions, Seal Factions was out for ages. People have a lot more show six experience than I do. So in terms of like forming strategies, I still felt I was pretty weak at that time, and that might have shown in some of my previous play Pokemon results. But yeah, we'll see. I've always, I've loved everyone at the Hidden Powers team. So yeah, it's
You're
whatever
content
it
to
is.
stay.
Whatever it is, it's a tough decision. And we're all like, the thing is, we're all part of one group at the moment, and we all meet up at regionals as one collective group rather than like individual teams. So
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's like, it's not even a big thing. And for me going forwards, I'm trying to prioritize the play Pokemon. Um, rather than any team formats. I'm still gonna try and help out, but I think my focus from now on, having seen like how amazing Worlds was, and I much prefer the whole social aspect of meeting up with people, and yeah, just love the play Pokemon scene. So
That's awesome to hear.
yeah.
Um, I hate to break it to you, but people have high expectations of you now. So you're not really a new show 6 player anymore. You're a champion. I have an evil question for you. Who's the best team pizza player? You have to name someone. You cannot be
I
diplomatic.
I thought this was coming, so it was thought. I think I'd
Basically, yeah.
watched or listened to a few, I think Maxwell's and Farid's before, and I think you asked the same. So I thought this would come my way. Um, okay, I think to name three, it would be Maxwell, PvP David, and Colin. Um, and to split between those three is ridiculous because, like, both of their not both all three of their mechanics, the gameplay is just spot on. Like whenever I'm watching David on stream, he's insane. You never like he's so locked in. You never see him make like a single error with his. I've genuinely never seen him make an error with his counting before. Same with Maxwell. Same with, I mean, Colin as well. It's obviously Colin and Maxwell have had more success in the tournaments, but David hasn't fared too bad. He did superbly at Worlds and has obviously competed a lot less than the other two.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick out like a lucky hat because I can't break three down. I can beat Colin, but I can't beat the other two as consistently. So maybe we'll get Colin out of there, but that's maybe because I prefer his safe style and it kind of suits me. um, I don't know. Let's give it to Weedle for now. Just EUIC champion.
Okay.
And
He is the defender of Europe after
Yeah.
all.
he did.
He is. I mean,
The
also
big
our
one.
only senior
But
division or world champion. So
it
he's
is
got some
tough.
pretty big titles.
And like we've got some cracking play. Like Farid's knowledge of the game is superb as well, and um, I often speak to him like I was helping him build for Baltimore, but he then tells me some things in return, which then I consider for Dortmund. It's like knowing things, knowing what can beat what with a XY advantage, whatever, things like that that you don't even need to look at because he just knows it off by heart, what break points to hit and stuff. So it's nice being a part of the team where there's so much talent, and I'm sure I know we're big rivals, Martine, but
No, I don't know that feeling at
we
all.
are
Actually, I don't know.
we are a lovely bunch as well. And having like I think I was the only Javier and I made day two, so
Hmm.
like a lot of the attention was on me on the Saturday night, and just having like the likes of Emmy Weedle and I think Nezabethan as well helping me out on the Saturday night for the matchup against Alessio. It just felt great having that support.
Yeah, I always feel like I overthink things if I go through a matchup the day before. I also think preparation can be important sometimes, right? If you have like your teams ready. I think when I played against Colin on my first matchup of day two, I
Was
had
yeah,
nothing prepared. I was like, I'm gonna overthink this again.
Mm.
Um,
it worked. It worked for you.
yeah, it's really tough. It's the best Pokemon in the game. Um,
But he's not an RPS player though.
hey, it's the Pokemon I use the least amount of shields on, I think.
That's crazy.
It's
Uh,
yeah. How does it feel? I personally, when I get to day two, that feels like a relieving moment. That feels like, okay, this tournament was not an absolute failure for me. How does it feel for you to first reach day two? Let's start there. To first
Oh,
reach day two,
yeah, I honestly felt the same because I'd never done it before. I'm like, just that hurdle was done.
especially that's
That
why, right?
hurdle, that sorry.
Especially that's why, because it's like a very relieving moment. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
imagine.
yeah. Just having that. I mean, a lot of people had joked and called me the nearly guy, and I'd labeled myself as that many times as well. um, but like it felt great. I actually relieved the pressure on myself for all of the matchups. But then when I studied the matchup, I'm like, this is a pretty good matchup. And then because I was coming from winner's side, people were telling me there's only 3 games left. I'm like, we'll see what we can do. I know it's going to be tough, like ridiculously tough opponents, but
It,
I was kind of funny thing. I don't know if you've seen. I mean, you have seen my team, but it was ridiculously weak to Shadow Machamp and Pangoro, and I was just like looking at the whole bracket and seeing
there was
if
any
there are
no.
any left. And I saw there was one, and when I saw that, I think it was Aregi. When I saw he was knocked out, it meant even if I was like knocked down to the losers bracket, I could confidently make my way up because I felt that was like the only weakness of the team really. I played risky, but those karate chop users aren't so great. Um, and then the prep for a mind joke. I know I mentioned it to you in the interview. Uh, I wrote down 4 really safe lines, which meant I could safe swap Shadow for Alligator as long
Hmm.
as I led strong into Ariados because you can't swap Gator behind energy into the Spider. So a Moltres, Clodsire, or Dunsparce lead would have worked fine. I literally had a safe swap Gator if there was like, I don't know, an Azuma on the Moltres. I could safe swap Gator and he had no response for it. And then game one, I stuck to my principles. I won it with the Clodsire lead, and I just thought, let's lead superior. It has some core break potential, and it just went against my whole like mantra of playing safe because
I
I knew I could
knew it.
always fall back on that Shadow Gator safe swap, and I just thought, what are you doing? And I lost the game too.
I
I was,
I told a mind joke the day before. there's no way he can ever lead Gator and Superior. So he's always gonna lead Clotsire and or Dunsparce.
Yeah.
That you let Superior was actually crazy to me. I was like, there's no way he does that. He actually, if he listened to me to that in that, he probably would have lost in that. But yeah.
And then, I mean, I was sort of unfortunate that two leads Superior saw worthy, but like even that he could have then safe swap like a Feraligatr, and Moltres lead negates a Feraligatr safe swap. Dunsparce sort of as well, but
Mm-hmm. And Dunsparce was really
yeah.
good there too, no?
Oh yeah, I really should have given my MVP to Dunsparce. I actually counted how many times I used it. 15 out of the 18 battles.
There you go.
I used Moltres twice. Two.
Hey, it was there, dude. It was it was there when it needed to show up, right?
True, true. Team game at the end.
Yeah. I I absolutely loved watching you play for multiple reasons.
Thank you.
For one, it's like yeah, you were just completely on point, and you were like you had the really good catches. Uh, but the thing is, like you're a name that has been around for a while, and you haven't really had your breakout moment until the day that you know you made it to day two, and then you won it all. But I think it's a really like nice story for other players who are also good but haven't had their moments. Like, I mean, this is like a whole question that we have on our podcast, even like, who is someone that you think is really good, but just, hasn't really made their name for themselves? And I think that you would have fallen into that category very easily. And I think that that is like kind of an inspirational thing for other trainers who are like, well, you know what? Kazim, he's qualified for worlds. He's obviously had talent. Other players know that he's good, but he didn't really have a top cut until the 2025 season. So I don't know. That wasn't really a question. That was just more of a. I'm really happy
No,
that you won and that there you have this like kind of really cool, different backstory than a lot of people.
no, it is really cool how I just managed to. I still can't believe it. I'm telling people like I've never even come close before. But like you're spot on. There are so many players who have probably like made it to I don't know like losers final of their group or something, and I still go by what I said earlier. The skill gap between the top players is very small. It's minor details that you can always just work on those just to get yourself from that level onwards. And for me, that that detail was actually just calling baits and playing like I usually do from my bed and from from home. Just whereas previously I just respect everything, and I just thought I don't usually get that success on GBL from playing like within myself. So I just thought I think it was actually my first match. I led no, yeah, Superior into for Alligator, and I got the shield, and I just thought they always bait, so I just no shielded, and it was just comfortable from them because I shielded a bait, and I kind of feel at these tournaments people are inclined to bait, thinking, oh, the stakes are too high at these tournaments. They're going to shield a lot of things. So I baited more, but I called more baits at the same time, and I just thought, what is there to lose? And it worked. That was it. That was kind of my main improvement going into this season. Just play like I do from home. Just treat it like a go battle league game or a practice, and it just somehow paid off.
It's also a little bit easier when you're on the winner side, right? To take a little bit more risk, I think.
Hundred
How did
percent,
how
hundred
did you actually
percent.
get to the team that you used?
So I've been team building loads prior to the tournament, but I only came to the team around a week before, and it was inspired by Septile Ice. Um, he pretty much used the same team and did
I
really
didn't see
well with
your
it.
Shadow Celio
Yeah,
anywhere.
I just upgraded a few things. Shadow Celio, I don't even think I have one. I know I have a good normal one, but it's not. I didn't even think about it. I just thought Dugong. I really like Dugong. It's bulky, and I thought I'll come on to this in a second. So I upgraded the Celio to the Dugong. Strict upgrade there. We can't debate that. Sorry, Septile Ice. I know Celio was awesome pick, and I was actually rooting for you to make it. I was so glad you made it today too. If you are watching, and then Mandibuzz, I brought Mandibuzz to Worlds, but I didn't use it in a single battle. It's boring. You have to know the damage ranges so well because it can't farm things down. And I like to have. I felt my Worlds team didn't have much fast move pressure. And I do really know like the importance of fast move pressure in show 6 to be able to carry energy
Charm
from one
Whimsicott,
matchup
dude.
to the sorry.
Charm Whimsicott.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You are honestly right there. Despite fairy wind buff, and I had a decent Galarian Moltres sat in my inventory. I'd not used it much, but I thought this could work. And then I found out it could two shield through Shadow for Alligator. I'm like, yeah, there's my Gator answer. I know I had Superior. I know I had Dunsparce. And nothing was a strict like a Toxapex or I don't know, nothing hard beats for Alligator anyway. I felt like I just wanted to have a team that had good matchups into Gator. So I had a Dugong that could resist the moves, the Grass type, a Dunsparce, which is resist Shadow Claw, and the Galarian Moltres. I did notice the weakness to Shadow Machamp, and I think Farid he's uploaded a video of him destroying me with a Shadow Machamp team in a local. But I just thought I even got those battles pretty close, and that was one reason which kind of like led me to stick with the team. The second point I was going to make, I noticed through a lot of your practice tournaments, Martine, I was counting the number of Sludge Bomb Clodsire in every tournament I played compared to the Stone Edge one, Stone Edge variants, and it looked to be about 70 to 30% in favor of Sludge Bomb. And I think it is the better option just because of the pacing. I know they both offer their benefits in terms of coverage, but the pacing really
better
helps.
into Grass and Azumarill, right?
Grass and Azu, exactly. So that's what led me on to the Dugong Moltres. I wouldn't really say it's a core, but two of them actually do perform pretty well together whenever I used them. And whilst it was risky against Stone Edge, I mean, Dugong does fine. And if there was a Stone Edge Clodsire, I had Superior to kind of, Superior perform better into those teams rather than the Clodsire one. So, yeah, and I'd use Superior and Dunsparce together in Go Battle League quite a bit. Shadow for Alligator I've been using for a lot, but never actually brought it to a tournament. And I also wanted Pokemon that had really fast pacing. So like I tried the Diggersby Toxapex core, but again, Toxapex, if you're locked into a bad matchup, your opponent can just farm so much energy against it without having to worry. Brian does nothing to anything. So it's just that fast pacing allowed me to move around a lot more, which we eventually saw.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Toxapex is a little bit if you are like over preparing for Alligator, right? But you do give yourself so much risk into Clodsire, Mudslap Pokemon. You do shut down Azumarill. That's cool, I guess. I saw like Maxi's team. I think it wasn't Maxi's team. I think it was like 4 times weak to Azumarill, and I think then Toxapex pairs really well with it.
Yeah, because the Azu's coming, but then you're inviting yourself to play an alignment game. I mean, you can play ABB, but like
it's my favorite. So, do you have any idea yet of you're going to Lille, right?
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Lille, Birmingham, EUIC that you said. Do you have any idea yet of
Gdansk? Yeah.
Gdansk as well. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You're like doing them all.
You're rich now from the prize money, so people have been telling me the whole time. I hated it, but do you have any interesting picks that you have in mind right now?
I'm thinking about like low kicks. I don't know if that's good or not, but it's a Sucker Punch user. I wanna take something funny, and but not like bad funny, but something unusual and something that people might not prepare for.
Do you want me to inspire you?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it here.
I've been cooking this core. I'm not sure if I'll bring it. I'll say that. It requires 4 more Pokemon to cover it really well. Wigglytuff.
Oh
Shadow
no,
Mewtwo.
It's Wigglytuff. No, I can't bring Wigglytuff.
But Shadow Mewtwo.
I'll bring Shadow Mewtwo.
There's so little fast attack pressure, right? You only need to cover Gator.
What do you do against Galarian Moltres? You get 2-shot by Sucker Punch.
Bro, only 2 Pokemon, only two people in the tournament use that Pokemon. It's fine. They got to grand finals, but I mean, okay, yeah. I mean,
Disappointing.
you have more Pokemon to cover that, right? And of course, Wigglytuff covers that as well.
I
I feel like Wigglytuff covers like Gator and Dark type Pokemon that Mewtwo
Shadow,
may actually be able to put a
Shadow
dent in.
Muse.
And just imagine your opponent is just bluffing. He's like, this bozo doesn't lead Shadow Mewtwo, and then boom, Shadow Mewtwo lead into Clodsire with Toxapex in the back. GG's trainer. They swap out. You throw Side Strike. It does 80% to Dunsparce. It does like 50%, but still, just the impact it does, right? I
It
love
hits
the idea.
hard.
You're gonna
Oh,
win charge attack priority.
honestly, it hit. I've used it quite a bit. Like sometimes I hit legend and I just end up using Shadow Mewtwo and things in GBO, and it's so fun when you give it a shield advantage.
Hmm.
So oh, you are inspiring. Not Wigglytuff. And fun fact, I cannot play with Charm. I like people say you just tap tap.
Hmm.
I genuinely struggle playing like people say it's the easiest way, but I can't. I'm like, why I can't reach my moves. I
It
can't reach
can
my
just be
attack.
bench pressure. It can just be bench pressure. You don't even use it. You don't even build the Pokemon. It's just on your team to pressure Dark types and for Alligator.
No, but now people will
It's-
know. They'll be like, Kazim will never use that Wigglytuff that's sitting on the bench. I can
And
go
that's how you
dark
get
all the
them. That's
time.
how you get them. They play Moltres League Champ in the back. Easy.
I got a better fairy for that.
Primarina?
Primarina.
Azumarill?
So, it also begins with W.
Gramble? W. W Slurpuff? I don't
There's
know.
no way you've not.
Yeah, Whimsicott. Would you run?
But I'm not
It,
even really considering. I want to find something different. I don't. I honestly like. I love the whole Whimsicott story. I know I didn't really answer your question earlier on
do you not think
Amanda,
Whimsicott is
but
play right now?
no.
Like, besides the poison types, is it really that bad?
Besides the poison types, is brilliant, but there's a lot of bad poison type matchups, and
Yeah.
They're like
like
top meta.
like fun fact, Whimsicott was never like I never even knew what it was before Pokemon Go. And Meganium was actually my favorite Pokemon, and I got the plushie with I found the plushie backstage and got my picture with the Meganium, and that was its own story for me as well. Um, yeah, that might be news to a lot of people, but Meganium was
Yeah, I know.
always
Just a
there.
lot of people were giving you some crap about that, being like, "What? Your photo is with Meganium?"
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think some grass Pokemon's going to be a little bit jealous here.
yeah. but with Whimsicott, it was just a really nice core breaker in the Medicham, Lantern, Altaria,
Hmm.
Swampert, Sableye, Dragonair, whatever.
It's
There
so
were
underwhelming though. Like, you could lose to like Sableye still, right? You lose to Feraligatr if you have one Shadow Claw advantage
two
on
shields you
Feraligatr.
lose. Yeah,
Actually, it
yeah,
might
yeah.
even
But pretty
be.
much all grass types do on
Yeah,
paper,
yeah,
right? Unless
that's
you're like
fair, I guess.
Lurantis or something, I don't know, or
I
Victory
played
Ball.
against Feraligatr against the Whimsicott with Feraligatr against Chun in the previous meta, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go full Hydrokin into it. Just won
Yeah,
the two
you
shield.
win the twos straight Hydra, and that's why
It's
another
actually
reason
crazy.
why
That's wild.
you
Yeah.
can't, but you can build a Feraligatr Slayer Whimsicott, which I've been told about to win charge attack priority.
Aha. Why does he know that? I think he might be
But
using it.
like, yeah, no, it's not the time. So I'm gonna look. I've got some time to.
But you,
Got
but
some.
you are gonna think. I mean, are you still playing to win, or are you playing for practice
It's a
and kind of to
it's a
keep up
bit of
with the
both.
metas?
Like
Yeah.
I've never experienced this feeling before, so I don't want to go 0-2 and everyone be like, oh, your win was a fluke or something. But you never know, that could happen even if I do try.
Hey, even if that happens, you're the one with the invite. You're the one who got to first place. So I mean, you can go 0-2. You already are gonna be in Anaheim.
You don't want to be the European nighttime clasher, though, right?
Oof, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I like Eric.
But I'll try and bring at least one fun, unique pick. But
Yeah,
it will have to be a good one. I don't want it to be like just bench pressure.
sure, sure.
Okay. Would you also consider going internationally to compete besides Worlds, like NESC or
I
something?
mean, so I am top of the leaderboard now, which puts me in. I mean, I haven't really looked into all of this travel award,
Well,
but
the
it's
point
gonna
you get
be
right now is for EUIC Travel Awards.
right,
Um,
right, right.
So far
which
away,
is
so
nice.
far
Like
away.
I imagine it's for you like a train trip or something,
Yeah,
and you
yeah, yeah. I
pay
think
to travel. So I think that's pretty nice to pocket.
I think with Worlds being in America, I think that rules out the NAIC. It's just time and everything really, and having booked quite a few regionals already.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I might have actually considered it. I did have a brief thought before Dortmund, like if I was really close on the points, and you know how it's only like top 50 and competition will be fierce. I know it's going to be really fierce, and I was in and around like 40th to 50th last season, and just seeing the names in and around that spot, there are some top battlers who can't go to to every tournament, and but will be consistent throughout and get enough points to be around that range. So it's going to be tough. So I'm just glad that I made it earlier on, and then I'll probably just try and enjoy the few that I am going. And I think, yeah, knowing that I am qualified for Worlds, I think I'd also like had Sevilla and Stockholm maybe on the radar, so I might rule them out, but we'll see. It
It just
depends on
relieves
time. Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
it just relieves some pressure that
That's
you
the
now have
thing.
that on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I can just go into these and enjoy. There's a lot of regionals that I've done just fearing an O2. Thankfully, not happened yet, but
Yeah.
guess it won't really matter too much now.
I think that's what everyone has when going to tournament, right? Myself too. Um,
Yeah,
what would
it's
you
only
think of
normal.
Swiss instead of double elimination?
Like I know a lot of people are proponents for it, but for me personally, I don't have too much against the double elimination format. I think it just means there's more on the line for each battle. But at the same time, I do understand like going 0-2, going 1-2. You don't get to play as much, and I think going forwards, everyone pays the same entry fee. We should all maybe have the same, what would it be, 7, 8, 9 battles? I'm not exactly sure, but having the opportunity to just play throughout the day, because I mean that's
Mhm,
the main
mhm.
reason we are all here. Um, and the system always works whenever I play. It's like it's always pretty fair, and it kind of ensures you're playing players at a similar level to you throughout. So even those who are coming just for fun and to try it out, I think for those it will benefit them a lot more. It also means for higher level players less pressure on each battle, because I know pressure can get to even the bigger names very easily. So whilst I say I'm like, I have nothing or not much against the double elimination personally, I think Swiss going forwards is the way. Um, I think numbers might increase. Just yeah, a lot of people fear just coming along and getting swept in the first half an hour. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not exactly always prone to going 0-2 or 1-2, but I've had that before, right? And it sucks. I don't like that.
and
Right?
you just want to play more, right? And you never want to like with
Yeah.
this current system. You're
Y-
always unless.
you
Sorry, go
want
on.
to go back into it and prove to yourself that you are not that bad, or that you just want
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah,
redemption,
yeah.
and then you can't even do that. You
You
know,
can't. You'll always end on a loss unless you're the champion,
exactly.
basically. And I hate that feeling. Honestly, hate ending
Yeah,
any gaming session on a loss.
yeah. I went 0-2 in Liu 2022, but I also had a food poisoning, so the whole weekend just sucked.
Oh,
Like I went there on a food poisoning, right? I didn't get it
Oof.
there, but like I went on there. So
rough.
and then Liverpool was a 1-2, and it was disappointing day one, but you can still make it a fun day, a fun weekend with the community.
That's the thing.
So at
Yeah,
least
there's
there's
always the
that. But
community aspect.
yeah, well, yeah. What do you think, Amanda? How has your competition been going?
I think that, I mean, I would like to compete regardless, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that overall, especially because I did play Sylph back in the day, so I was more used to Swiss, so the double elimination thing was kind of introduced to me by the Play Pokemon tournaments and stuff. And so I definitely would be more inclined, and as a like someone who hasn't competed yet, knowing that my seeding would be extremely low, so I would guaranteed be matched up against someone who's already pretty good, is kind of discouraging. And I can understand that, especially from someone who's potentially even newer to Show 6 than I am. Of that, it's like, okay, so I enter a tournament, I'm going to be put up against, a Mind Joke who is well high placed, and so seating wise, of course that makes sense, but also it's really hard for newer players, I think, to come in and do well off the bat unless they already have had some sort of like background in it. On that note as well, Kazim, do you have any tips for people? Because just like you cracked the code in GBL and you all of a sudden got kind of good, you seem to have cracked the code now in the play Pokemon. You made the day 2 and then you won the tournament. Are there any things that you're like, okay, if this is going to be your first tournament, or if you haven't really made it to day 2, here are some things that I did that I feel like I did differently this time than last time?
So I think firstly, just don't be afraid to like reach out and speak to people. This community is honestly the nicest, one of the nicest I've been around in my time.
You're counting Martine in this because you've met him, right?
He can decide on
This is
that
what I
one.
have to put up with,
But
Kazim, every time.
so I think and everyone's always happy to help, whether you're a rival or not. Like the knowledge that is around in these tournaments. But then equally at home, like Martine, your tournaments I've seen have been growing in size uh, quite quickly recently. So like
It's
get your
pretty good,
feet
right?
wet, get your feet wet in these practice tournaments. Do your GBL sets. Check up your sims on PvPoke and just build that knowledge in your head, and it will transform into your gameplay just naturally. It is like I said before, it's a memory game, I think. And sometimes it's about, I always say it's like you do your revision, and then the tournament's like it's like the exam, and it's where you put your skills to the test and show what you've learned. I'm trying to like I've tried to host a few tournaments in my local London Discord as well, to try and get like a lot of my locals into PvP as well. And I've seen numbers increase quite a bit in the tournaments that I've done, and I'm really hoping that my success last weekend has kind of pushed some more to get into it. So there's always people happy to help. I know a lot of the community leaders like yourself. You do so much for for PvP as a whole. So like the support is there. I know it can be difficult because everyone is so like well established, and getting to the high level might be difficult, but you can only get there by starting out.
I didn't tell him to promote my server, by the way, or my text codes. While we're at it, I am trying to. I asked Adib to make it even a little bit more. How do I say this? Secure. It's one thing that some people are a little bit. What's the word I was looking for? I'll just say aware. I'm very used to that word. People are very conscious. They're very conscious of their team being potentially leaked, right? Because once you're signed up, it's hidden for spectators, but every competitor can see all the teams. I guess that's how you've been counting
Yeah.
Sludge Bomb Klotzire. So I'm hoping to have
that
like,
is a that is a big point.
yeah,
I was gonna can I add a point that I think it was EUIC. You know how the brackets are, they're announced the day before. Well, they were for that tournament, and
mm-hmm,
I think they were for Dortmund. And I see my opponent, and I'm like, God, I played the same team like 10 tournaments in a row. They're
mm-hmm,
just gonna build. I was just like panicking. I was like,
yeah.
do I just put a second team? But I didn't have any practice with that one, so it was fine in the end. It was actually, I ended up playing that one on stream. I think you casted it, Martine. But yeah, it was a fear factor at the time. But I mean, it's all hidden now. So I mean,
Well, I'm gonna try
it's
to hide it even more that you don't see it from other competitors as well. You only see the ones you're matched up with.
Interesting.
In the end, the
yeah.
way I see it, you have to beat everyone anyway,
That
Mhm.
is true. That
right?
is true. And
You're
and
not
like
gonna win because someone doesn't know your team. You're gonna win because you play well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's gonna really, if you think of, like, no one's gonna team build just to beat their round one opponent. Surely, I mean, everyone wants to win. Like, what does winning one round do if you're just gonna get mashed by the second opponent
I,
because
I
you built your
Yeah.
team
yeah,
unbalanced?
I feel
So
like
yeah,
Amanda would do something like that to me.
No. Ha 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 ha.
just to you, Martin.
Yeah. No, I mean, what you guys just said, I was talking with Arrow when I was in Baltimore because he also had a really kind of spicy team, also had the Galarian Moltres, and he was basically saying to anyone, like, here's my team, scrim against me. And I was like, are you not concerned at all about like hiding like potential factors? And he said, no, because I want to be the best. And if I'm the best, I have to play well against everyone. And if there's a team that would hard beat me, I want to know it in practice because
Yeah,
I want to know how I'm going to play around it when I
Mhm.
get to that point and
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
I was like, yeah,
He's
it's a good point.
spot on
Yeah,
there.
people give Arrow a hard time, but he's a really good mindset in, especially been being persistent. I just wrote the a little bit of the article that I have on Dracovis for Louisville, and I have him on there as well, Arrow, because I think he played in like the most turns out of everyone. Uh, did you know he never went negative? He never had
Yeah,
a
he's
1-2
never, yep,
or 0-2. That's
ever.
actually crazy. Played like the most tournaments, never went negative. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think
You
he's
can't in
very.
US though. You can't, right? I've
But
given Arrow some stick in
have,
person over this, so I'm sure he won't mind. But
have you been talking to Farid a lot? Because he's been saying the same stuff. I think that's why he went there as well. I don't know.
no, the
Again,
consistency he shows is quite
yeah,
remarkable, and
I do
it's
think like if we compare any to EU, and I think we've all said that before, right? The
Careful.
top level in NA, it's like a smaller group than it is in Europe, but um like that actual top in NA, like if you look at Wadaj, Pocket, Ilum, uh
elite.
Doombug,
Yeah, Doomberg.
Lao, and
Rise. Yeah,
more,
yeah.
those are actually
Scary.
yikes
Scary
to
names.
face, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you have like good players in EU. They're also scary. I think they just haven't made that big of a name to look as scary. But
Yeah.
there's definitely like players like one of them, for example, JBG Winston, scary good player, just hasn't made it far yet.
I
And
mean,
maybe
he beat Daxon at Worlds.
there you go,
So I
right?
mean, it's a, yeah.
There you go. I don't know. Maybe day two is easier as Tomok says, but winning the actual thing definitely not as easy. I would say. Uh,
Yeah, I think just the overall competition in EU tournaments. I was looking at the Dortmund bracket, and I pretty much like 90% of the whole of the bracket was a super talented trainer. Like, I think that's the difference with EU and US. I think your day one run is a lot more difficult, but at the very top in US, I think it's like you say, it's some scary names there, and I think the top level in US might have the edge, but I guess that's still open to debate.
Well, look, they had us last season with their top three of worlds. Now they were not there, so at least
Yeah.
we are
Close in
not
the
being
gap for
scolded
sure.
at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
season.
Yeah. And well, and
You,
while we're on the
you,
topic of
God.
players, I think it kind of segues pretty well into our ending question. And it's a two-parter, Kazim, because we love two-parters here on Tap Tap Cast. The first question is, who in the community would you consider a crib brawler? And this is a player like maybe we would have categorized you before Dortmund, who is a really good player, scrappy, but maybe not super well known yet. They're just kind of waiting through their breakout moment. And who in the community would you consider a champion? And this is someone who, has it in him to win worlds, probably already a big name, and you think that they could take it really far.
Hmm. The club ruler one is tough. It can be anyone, right?
Yeah, could be anyone.
I'm gonna start with the champion. And like I don't have as much play Pokemon knowledge as you two might have, but whenever I watch Wardaj, he is impeccable and he is scary. The number of top three finishes he has, and win. No, did he win? Or was it Elite who won? I can't
He won.
remember who
He
it
won.
won.
was
He
Wadash,
won.
yeah,
Yeah,
He
it
yeah.
did
was
win. Yeah,
Wadash.
I was
Yeah.
winning Baltimore after a long break. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't know if he played in between, but he didn't do any big tournaments. Coming back, fresh, new meta as well, and just sweeping. I mean, he reversed swept the winners final as well.
Yep.
That is pretty scary, right? So I think just based on how well he performs, and if I don't know if he will be competing in future tournaments, but if he will be there, I mean, he has qualified, so I expect and hope to see him at Worlds. He'd have to be my champion. The crab, was it just the crab ruler, or was it something? Trying to think someone on my team now, but I think everyone on my team has done pretty well. So it's someone who's like not really like made it too far, or is lesser known, right?
Someone who is like Kazim, hasn't top cut before, but could win a championship one day.
Or maybe he's even top cut, but just hasn't won. Or you're just like, hey, you know what? This person's just starting out. I saw them at one of my locals that I've been coaching, and dang, like, give them a couple months and they're gonna be a star.
Taking the cook. I don't know stuff. Like, I think maybe like one of the Spanish players. There's a lot of good Spanish players at the moment, and I've seen like the consistency of, I think, like San Rodrigo, Pablo Dinas, and recently Aregi. I think Stranger top cutted in Worlds as well. So like, I feel like they're not like on the same level, you know, as say the likes of yourself and Colin and Alessio and the big names like that. But I think in terms of gameplay, whenever I see them play and wherever I face them as well, I don't know. Can I give it to all of them? Because I see
we'll give it to Spain as a country.
Just give it to Spain, minus Paula. She's a defo queen of Spain. But I think they have some very good players, and it won't be long until one of them wins at least the regional for sure. Because I think San Rodrigo's consistency last season was pretty special.
He's
I think
good.
he was top cutting every tournament. Similar with Pablo, so maybe one of the two of them. Yeah, I didn't really think about this, but like they do come to my head, and I think the consistency is a big point in play Pokemon, because there is pressure, and just having that mental strength as well to perform in every tournament. I've never really seen them have a bad run, so I think I've got to I'll give it to both. Yeah, San Francisco and Pablo Dinas.
If you say Spaniard will win a tournament soon, yeah, if Paula's on that team, the odds are pretty high, probably.
No, but honestly, like, we all know how good Paula is. She destroyed me earlier today, and you saw it, didn't you?
I mean, like, that was kind of a rough one, right? It was like a Magnezone mirror. You called a bait. She went for it. And she also called it a bait.
Yeah, proved who's the better Magnezone player. But like, and I think any of the other names have a good opportunity, and I don't think I'm better than any of them. So if I was able to do it, there's no reason why they can, not to put any pressure on anyone.
No, I like that answer. So you're very humble about your accomplishments and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit too diplomatic though. Sometimes you have to say, no, that person's bad, this person's good.
Yeah, look at me. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's the sound clip. Kazim throws shade on all other competitors. Look at me, look at this medal.
I love it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be our first guest of the new season. Congratulations once again on winning in Dortmund, and really excited to see what else you're going to be doing for this 2025 championship run.
Thank you so much for having me. No, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. Bring on Worlds already.
You'll have to wait a little bit, but until then, we'll see you again in Lille, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you both be there?
Yes! I will be there.
I'm thinking, I mean, it's only like a 40-minute train ride from Belgium, right? So
I will bring
Shadow
Mewtwo.
I'll be there.
Shadow Mewtwo.
Yeah, Shadow Mewtwo, Wigglytuff core. Here it comes.
Gotta work on the counters for that already.
I'll sweep with my 4 other Pokemon and say Wiggly's the best.
All right. And we will catch you guys on the next one. We have new episodes coming up soon. So make sure that you're subscribed so you guys don't miss any of them. Until then, we'll
see ya.
catch you later. Bye.